Welcome to the Munro Review, where it's all about connecting, sharing, and valuing the arts in the central San Joaquin Valley. I'm Donald Munro. Today is June 16th, and I am excited to be here in the CMAC studio in downtown Fresno. We have a great show for you today, including a special guest all the way from, well, it's not actually Hollywood, New Orleans, but it's like Hollywood via Fresno. Zelia Ankrum stars in the new Disney series Ultraviolet and Black Scorpion, and she's in studio with us. Plus, we'll take a closer look at CSU Summer Arts, which returns live to Fresno State, and we put the spotlight on Shine Theater's new production of Children of Eden with actors Miguel Molinar and Michael David to talk about it, and we get a musical number as well. First, here are some highlights from what I've been covering on MunroReview.com. This is the year of the Music Man, both on Broadway and at Good Company Players. One of my favorite stories of the month is an interview with Jonan Sanders and his mom, Dory, who are both in the local production of The Music Man at Roger Rocca's Dinner Theater. Jonan is making his main stage debut at age 7, and I can tell you that he steals the show when he's on stage with his wonderful energy. The fun part of this story is that mom, Dory, also made her Good Company debut at the age of 7. And Jonan has 2 older sisters, Kaylin and Morgan, who are both in Music Man as well. What great family memories for all of them. I also wrote a review of The Music Man. In the early part of the run, the show was only able to play half its scheduled performances because of so many positive COVID tests among cast members. But you have to admire the dedication of the cast and some great understudies for keeping the show going as much as it was. Terry Lewis and Jessica Sarkisian deliver classic performances as Professor Harold Hill and Marion the Librarian. One of my favorite parts of the show has always been the double reprise of 76 trombones and Goodnight My Someone, especially when Harold and Marion switched the songs. And this production hit this emotional high point for me when these 2 fine actors put their hearts on their sleeves in that wonderful moment. There's lots to read at MunroReview.com about more summer theater, including the opening, finally, of Selma Arts Center's SpongeBob SquarePants the Musical. If you recall, we featured 2 of the actors on this show back in January when it was supposed to open, but it couldn't because of COVID. That seems to be a theme today. The Selma production plays through July 2nd. And I tell you all about the Madera Theater Project, a new theater company that will perform at the brand new Torres High School Theater in Madera. The inaugural production is Beauty and the Beast, which continues through June 25th. That's followed by Harvest Moon, which opens July 7th, and All My Sons, which opens July 28th. It's always great to welcome a new theater company to the area. One more thing to note, Beyond Van Gogh continues to be one of the big cultural events of the summer. I am curious to know what you think about the exhibition. Go to MunroReview.com to fill out my online survey about the show. Now, let's welcome our first guest. Zelia Ankrum has a choice role in the new Disney series Ultraviolet and Black Scorpion, which is streaming and airing now. Here's a look.
What is this thing? I know this might seem a little crazy, but it just showed up on my bed. The mask chose me. Whoa, that is full-on magic! Let's see what I can do. You do not want to taste what's in this sand. I really want to blow this up. What I need is a collab, and I know just the guy. You're a Black Scorpion.
Well, I am excited to welcome Zelia to the CMAC studios. Thank you for being here.
Of course.
What fun for you. I mean, this show seems like it really has a sense of cohesion and family and fun, and it just looks like you're having a great time.
Yeah, the cast is so close, so it felt like, we could, mess up around each other and still have a good laugh.
So you told me before we aired that you actually filmed this in New Orleans, which really surprised me because it's set in Los Angeles. How did that work?
It was really great. You know, New Orleans is full of culture. You know, we were going to parades at Halloween and having so much fun. And, you know, there's always jazz playing on every street, so it was awesome.
So tell us a little bit about your character. Your character's name is Maya, and her last name is?
Miller Martinez.
Miller Martinez. So suggesting that Maya comes from a mixed cultural background.
Yes.
What can you tell us about that?
So actually, I was having a Zoom meeting with the showrunners, Eric Garcia and Leo Chiu, and we were talking about like the character and how they planned on going on with it, because they were like, "Are you half Hispanic?" And I was like, "Yes," and they were like, "Okay, that's awesome. We're gonna make your character also half Hispanic," and I was like, "Thank you," because you know, it's incredible to have your character reflect yourself, especially in that aspect, and so. It was also really kind of fun because my mom's maiden name is Martinez, so I thought it was kind of cool.
So you play the sidekick, and that's definitely what it is. But it's a sidekick with a twist. I mean, you have a lot more personality than a lot of sidekicks. How did that happen?
I feel like there was some changes made to Maya's character in the script. And she got a lot of really fun, funky lines. And, you know, I think what makes her so different is that she's really smart, but she also has her very forgetful moments. So, you know, she has lines that you're like, oh, yeah, you're a coder, but, like, are you? There's a line in, like, 106 where she completely forgets everything that happened in the episode, and tells Violet not to do something, and Violet's like, but it worked out well before. And
so she's
like,
kind of a little bit spacey or a little bit mad genius, that kind of thing. Now her look is really distinctive, and I notice, you know, you wear some pretty funky things. I mean, some really cool things.
Yeah.
But tell us about your hair and makeup.
My hair and makeup, that was a choice that was made during the camera test, I think. And I'm so glad they went with it. They put me in panda buns, and they like loved it immediately. And then they tried to put me in some lipstick, and then we realized with the mask, maybe no. But so we decided to go with some eyeliner, and that eyeliner is so awesome. I love how it looks in every episode and how it switches up.
Now the show has a fun message, and there's a lot of action, but it also has sort of a deeper underlying message about inclusion, cultural inclusion. There's lots of great references throughout in terms of Mexican American culture. Did you guys talk about that? How did you kind of set yourselves up for that message? Yeah,
I think that was always something that we really wanted to bring in with the show. You know, even from like the pilot to now, you know, there's things that you can find in the show, even the food and the colors, even the lighting. There's just so many aspects of the show that brings in that representation.
Now, the wrestling, which is a big part of this, and it's lucha. Is that the name for it, lucha? Were you a fan of that beforehand? Did you know much about it?
I didn't know that much about it. I knew of some lucha in our family on my mom's side. Not too much about it, but that we did have some lucha roots. But after like being in the show, I learned so much about it, and it was incredible just to see like the history.
I also think it's fun that the show talks about and uses social media so much. Violet is basically like live streaming herself, but they also have some interesting conversations about what is the persona that you put on social media, and should you be all that concerned about what other people think about you? So I'm curious, in your own upbringing, did you get to use social media from an early age, or what was your connection to social media yourself?
I think I only, like around 13, started using social media. And so I guess I definitely could relate to, you know, learning about the dangers of social media, especially on the show, about how, you know, negativity can be spread so much quicker, as well as positivity, but especially negativity. And I think that they portrayed that really well.
Yeah, it really makes you think sometimes just about how quickly stuff, especially when you live stream it, how quickly it gets out there. Tell us now about your time in Fresno, because you also are a working Fresno actress.
Yes.
And so you are in the Children's Musical Theater Works production of Les Mis, which is coming up. So what role do you play in that?
I play Cosette.
You play Cosette?
Yes.
Is that kind of like a dream role for you, as you always wanted that one?
I mean, I grew up watching Les Mis and Phantom of the Opera and, you know, those kind of like operatic musicals. So it was a dream come true to be Cosette. But, you know, it was just awesome to be in it.
And I understand that there is another member of your family that's also in the show.
Yes, my sister Vega.
And what does she play?
She plays Eponine.
So between the two of you, you have like the vocal horsepower of like the entire cast. Is musical theater something that you're really drawn to? Would that be your first love?
Yeah, definitely. My mom's a theater teacher, so I grew up singing musical theater, and I grew up being in her shows, and then eventually that's translated into being CMT.
And when you look at this Disney show that you're on, would you consider that like that's your big break into the industry?
Yeah, I think this is huge. Definitely. I mean, you know, being in musical theater is one thing, and then being in this feels like, you know, because I'm just so used to being in musical theater, and then, you know, being in front of the camera, it's completely different.
Well, and I can imagine because this is I wouldn't say it's a high budget, but I mean, it's definitely a sophisticated technological production. And I'm sure it seemed like there were dozens and dozens of people on the set, and you start to realize, wow, this is really a big business, and this is all kind of riding on me. Did you have any nerves like before going, on that first, before going before the camera? Do you find it hard to memorize your lines for scenes, or is that something that comes pretty easily to you?
It was a bit easier because we sort of had a scattered kind of schedule, like scattered chaos, organized chaos. But, you know, we would do a scene from, you know, maybe the bottom half of the show or the bottom half of the episode, and then we'd go right into like the beginning scene of the next episode. But, you know, it depended on what worked with that day. But, you know, I think it helped kind of doing that, because if I had to memorize like the 2 episodes, I'm not sure if I would fit it all in my mushy brain.
Well, yeah, and I could see where, especially if you have to do things out of order,
yeah,
and that could really be a challenge. I guess the difference with theater is that you're there live, and if you mess up, you just have to keep going.
Yeah, but it comes with a lot of good stories, man.
Definitely, definitely. Anything else to share from your time on set? Is there something that you never realized about TV until you actually did it, until you were in front of the camera?
I would say definitely the dedication. I think everyone has this idea of like a film actor, like, you know, with a coconut in their hand, with an umbrella in it, you know, enjoying life. But, you know, it's still very much a job, and you're trying to entertain people while still, you know, navigating everyone's reactions from the few people that are on set. So, you know, it's a lot of trying to find what your character is, and then also trying to get the lines right, and, you know, what would your character do, but like say the lines though.
Yeah. Any word on what you're going to be doing next beyond Les Mis?
Well, I don't think there's a whole lot of plans for right now. We're kind of in between everything, but, you know, hopefully a season 2.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. It is so fun to be able to watch somebody that you know, on the screen. And it just looks like you're having such a great time. So tell us again, where can you watch the show, and then give us the dates on Les Mis if we have them.
Les Mis. I'm not sure that I have the dates on Les Mis.
Okay.
But I do have Disney channels on Fridays. at 8:30 p.m. and on Disney Plus, the first 10 episodes are released. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And we'll check on the dates for Les Mis, because that's definitely something you want to.
Yeah.
We want to get people out to as well. We've got our own Disney star in the midst. So. All right. Well, thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Again, you can watch Ultraviolet and Black Scorpion on Disney Plus and the Disney Channel. And you can see Les Miserables at Children's Musical Theater Works from July 15th to the 24th. For our next story, I want to give a big shout out and encouragement to the CSU Summer Arts Program and Festival, which returns to Fresno State live this summer after taking a long COVID break. The festival opens June 27th at the John Wright Theater on campus with a special jazz and poetry performance by Fresno State's own Benjamin Boone, former U.S. Poet Laureate Juan Felipe Herrera, and Fresno Poet Laureate Lee Herrick. If you aren't familiar with Summer Arts, it's a California State University program that brings together students from all 20-plus campuses, connecting them with world-class artists in intensive 2-week teaching sessions. For most of us, the best part is the public performances. Some of the highlights include the dance company Bossy Flyer, which on July 5th performs a piece titled 3, which is based on Jean-Paul Sartre's existential masterpiece, No Exit. And on July 11th, the dance company Urban Bushwomen offers a program that includes a piece titled I Don't Know, But I've Been Told, If You Keep on Dancing, You Never Grow Old. It's an energetic mashup of different dance forms that came out of Black neighborhoods and features a live drummer. There are plenty of other public events almost every night as well, some of them free, including visual arts lectures, music, poetry, student culminations, and more. A local highlight will be prose readings by noted authors Mark Arax and Armand Bacon on July 20th. I invite you to check out the Summer Arts website at www.calstate.edu/summerarts. Now, on to our final guests. Miguel Molinar and Michael David are in a new production of Children of Eden, which opens July 8th at St. James Episcopal Cathedral. Welcome, Miguel and Michael. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So it's kind of fitting then that this show, you're going to be presenting it in an actual church setting.
Yeah, so the musical is based on the Bible. So I think it works really well in the round. We're actually going to be using the gymnasium, so it's a bit bigger.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and the acoustics are still really, really nice too.
So Children of Eden is one of those shows that I've heard a lot about over the years, but have never actually had the opportunity to see. Had either of you seen it before getting involved in this project?
No, not seen it, but it's always been something you heard about like throughout musical theater because of all of the beautiful songs and the popular big belty songs that are in it. And it's definitely like kind of intimidating because of how big those songs are, and everyone wants to try them because they're so high and belty.
You hear them a lot, say, at auditions or
I think
just sound like musical theater albums.
Yeah, like one of my first memories was in high school. Taylor Abels showed me Natalie Weiss singing "Spark of Creation" on YouTube, and it was like when YouTube was new. You know what I mean? And so I was like enamored, but I had no idea that it was from the musical. Children of Eden. It was something much bigger.
So the music is by Stephen Schwartz, who of course wrote Godspell and Pippin and Wicked.
He won an Academy Award for When You Believe for the Prince of Egypt. Yeah.
So it's a really well-known sound.
Yes.
In terms of the composer.
Yeah. The music. I mean, the music is what sold me. And when I was reading the script, I was understanding, the biblical stories because I grew up on them. But the music was what really compelled me to audition for the show.
So essentially, this is the story of Adam and Eve. Am I right? So Michael, how does the show start? What's the premise?
I mean, it starts with the creation of the world, essentially, with the Father creating Adam and Eve, and then it kind of goes with Adam and Eve creating their family, and then they kind of break the rules in the sense of not following Father's instructions, so they are kind of banned from the Garden of Eden. And their family is then kind of shunned from the garden, and then they end up kind of following their parents' footsteps in the sense of they want to break the rules as well, and it kind of trickles down.
It's where the whole
into
thing started, right?
Generational trauma.
Generational
Yes,
trauma. So, Miguel, what role do you play?
I'm playing the father.
Who is
Also known
essentially
as
God.
Yes.
Okay. So
the
you
creator,
create
the
whole
Messiah,
thing.
Almighty.
And Michael, you
Cain.
so you have the bad guy role.
Yes. Yes.
He does
I'm
a
the
really
rebel.
great job.
He does a great job. Now, I understand the two of you have kind of an interesting, there's kind of a coincidence here in that you went to school together, and you actually, while you were at school, you sang one of the well-known songs
Yes.
for this. So where were you when you were both together?
So we were in Los Angeles. We went to American Musical Dramatic Academy in Los Angeles. And our first semester, we were actually in the same class together. And Lost in the Wilderness was my first song that I was assigned.
And Lost in the Wilderness is what you're going to be singing for us
Yes.
today. And tell us a little bit about that song. What's happening there?
So this is the song where I'm becoming the rebel, and I want to convince Abel, my brother, like, let's go and adventure, and let's break away from following the rules, and let's go beyond what everyone tells us to do and the status quo.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about Shine Theater. Now, this company's been around a while, but it used to be kind of, I think it was exclusively devoted to children's theater, and now it's branched out. Tony Sanders, the artistic director, has really been taking it in an interesting direction. And I saw Bear, the musical, which was that's B-A-R-E, that was also at St. James. And oh my God, it was great. It was really, really good. And the vocal power was really there. So what do you think about this? The fact that there's this new theater company that's pushing the envelope a bit.
I love it. I think it's what we need. I think we have the talent for it in town. The cast list of Bear alone was phenomenal. So I wish I could have seen it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see it, but I know the talent so well, the voices. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm sad I missed out on it, but I'm very happy that there are people, here in town willing to do theater that is considered a little bit more risky, but that tells lives. It tells the stories of people's lives that don't normally get to tell their story. Don't really have a voice to do it. So I thought that was beautiful, what they were doing.
And it's nice that this will be the second title that I've always wanted to see, but it just, I've never had that ability to do it. So it's nice that somebody's out there thinking
of doing, unknown. Yeah, because I've never seen it done, in the Valley, or this is a musical. It's not really done very much, at all. So,
Right.
Yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity and honor.
So Michael, you're going to be a new name on the Fresno theater scene.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Originally from San Francisco, obviously made my way to LA and New York, and then I actually now reside in the Central Coast, San Luis Obispo.
Okay.
And then we've been friends ever since, and so he told me about the opportunity of Children of Eden, and I was like, I have to do it. And so
well, that's great. That's great.
I'm here now.
The show itself, I'm curious what the tone of it is because I think if you were to do a show today about the Garden of Eden, it would be kind of snarky and sarcastic. But I'm guessing that this is a little gentler.
When Tony was blocking it and then we performed the very first song, I started to notice it's a very playful tone, especially because Adam and Eve, the way that they were delivering their lines, their chemistry was popping off each other so well. And there was so much love between them. But at the same time, too, I saw the way that the script was written and the way that they were playing with the lines. It was so playful and light. So I didn't get the snarky tone. However, there are times when it comes in a little bit, and especially like when the snake comes in, and
And so it's kind of it might have a little bit of a nostalgic feel to it, but it's not like a Sunday school pageant.
Right.
Exactly.
I guess is what I.
Yes.
Is
I
what I'm
mean,
getting at.
I'm playing the father, so it's going to be a very different take than what most people think
Right.
of as God.
Right. Right. Well, this is great. I'm really looking forward to it. Anything else that you want to say about the production, or that we should know?
We're just really excited to perform. We're very excited to be here, and thank you for all you do for the Central Valley and making theater so accessible to everybody in the Valley.
Well, it can be a challenge to encourage people to go see titles that they aren't familiar with, and that's one of I think the biggest hurdles that theater companies have too. And that's one reason why you keep seeing the same titles over and over again.
Yeah.
And it's also, it's about audiences. It's like training audiences to get out there and do it. So just flash question, if you could bring any musical to Fresno and perform in it, what would it be?
Hunchback.
Hunchback? Okay. How about you?
I wasn't here when everybody did In the Heights, and so now I'm back, and I would love to be in the Heights.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that's one that they've done a few times, but unfortunately I couldn't audition for any of them. But I would love to do In the Heights.
Okay. Well, those are two good titles. All right. Well, thanks, guys. After a break, we're going to get a musical treat. Michael is going to sing for us.
Hi, I'm Zelia Ankrum from Ultraviolet and Black Scorpion. And you're watching
CMAC.
Magic.
And now, singing Lost in the Wilderness from Children of Eden, Michael David.
I never made this world, I didn't even lose it. And I know no one said it was fair, but they had a garden once, they had the chance to choose it. They gave it away, including my share. And now we're lost in the wilderness, lost, crying in the wilderness. And if anyone's watching, it seems they couldn't care less. We're lost in the wilderness. You follow all the rules, you swallow all the stories, and every night you wish on a star. Dreaming your day will come, trusting in allegories, and every morning, boy, look where you are. Lost in the wilderness, lost, slowly dying in the wilderness, with no chance of living, boy, until you confess you're lost in the wilderness. Don't you ever watch the eagle fly to the sun and wonder how he got to feel so free? If you ever have, you know your journey's begun. Hey, what have you got to lose, boy, when already we are lost in the wilderness? And where we are headed, boy, I couldn't even guess, but off we go without a warning, running as we hit the ground, where our future lies a-borning, where our hearts are outward bound. Till that bright and distant morning, we may stop and look around, and there in the wilderness, finally we'll be found.
Great job. That wraps it up for this month's episode of the Munro Review on CMAC. Be sure to keep up online at munroreview.com for previews, giveaways, profiles, reviews, and more. A big thank you to the CMAC staff and volunteer crew, and a thank you to our guests, Zelia Ankrum, Miguel Molinar, and Michael David. And for all of you, please keep exploring and supporting the local arts scene. We'll see you next time.